How do each of the texts, The Witch, Young Goodman Brown, and Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, share stylistic similarities while also transforming them to fit their audience and medium? Young Goodman Brown, The Witch, and Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, all three texts invoke fear through different stylistic choices, such as sound, imagery, and repetition of punishment. The witch often uses long, loud, or drawn-out noises to amplify fear. The sounds are usually played when staring into the woods or when something bad happens, so the music can be seen as the evil in the story. By playing these sounds during scenes where we are dealing with the unknown, what we're looking at becomes tense and makes the viewer feel scared of what will happen next. The composer of The Witch, Mark Corvin, says, "The score is really taking on the role of the witch or of Satan. We don't see them very much in the film, so the music was the presence of evil, which was always lurking throughout." Because the sound is used a lot throughout the film, the viewer attaches the events of the film to the chilling tone of the music. The Witch also has the ability to not use any sound in moments. A piercing mute scene is just as effective at conveying fear. In Young Goodman Brown, fear is made through the imagery set up by the text to make an unknown evil seem to be everywhere. These woods are made to be the home of a sinister force. Nathaniel Hawthorne writes in paragraph 8, Goodman Brown felt himself justified in making more haste on his present evil purpose. He had taken a dreary road, darkened by all the gloomiest trees of the forest, which barely stood aside to let the narrow path creep through, and closed immediately behind. It was all as lonely as could be. The setup of imagery is the basis of fear used in this text, which expands into some of Goodman Brown's biggest fears, like everyone he knows and loves also being in the malevolent forest. In Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God, the author's purpose of writing this text is to make the reader fear God, and he does this with the repetition of punishments from an angry God. Jonathan Edwards' main point is that God is angry with everyone, but only through fearing his wrath and putting all your trust in him will you be saved. As Edward says, the wrath of God burns against them. Their damnation does not slumber. The pit is prepared, the fire is made ready, the furnace is now hot, ready to receive them. The flames do now rage and glow. The glittering sword is wet and held over them, and the pit hath opened her mouth under them. All three texts have their own distinct ways of producing a terrifying atmosphere. The Witch can use sound and visual image, but it doesn't leave the viewer able to make many inferences. Young Goodman Brown uses this dark and alluring imagery to hook the reader, and it lets the reader make their own conclusions, but leaves a lot of the story's message for the reader to decide. Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God makes you scared of God's wrath, but provides no narrative.